Hey y'all, it's Molly with Minnie Acres, and today we are talking tomatoes. Look at that. So today is May 28th or 29th, and you'll see this video in a week. So probably by then I'll be hopefully maybe eating a tomato sandwich. That would be pretty awesome. I'm eyeballing some cherry tomatoes I'm going to eat probably while we make this video. So I always forget to tell y'all that we are located in Northwest Florida, Zone 8A B-ish, and about 40 to 45 minutes south to the beach. So we're not quite close enough to the water to get the benefit of that Gulf breeze. So it's a little bit more, it can be hotter and more stagnant here, just that much further north from the beach, but not far enough north to have the cooler weather, if that makes sense. Anyway, we're in a nice little pocket of swamp. How about that? That's where I am. I'm in a nice little pocket of swamp. It's really hot today. We haven't had rain for 3 weeks, and it's not forecasted for us to get rain again anytime soon. Right now is the season where the storms come up off the Gulf and thunderstorms just pop up. They just materialize before your eyes, and we've been watching them pop up all around us and rain all around us, and you can smell it and you can feel the change in the air, and yet we get no rain. So I've been watering my gardens with city water because I've run out of rainwater collection, and it's just not as good. You know, they just don't thrive as well off of that city water. So hoping for rain. So all the tomato plants have gotten gussied up for their show. I neglected to prune for a week or two, and then it was a really hot mess to try to get it done. Some of the plants are so unruly that there was no coming back, but a lot of them seem to be better now that I pruned them up and got rid of yellowing leaves and took off some like suckers and extra branches that had started taking off. That I want bigger fruits on my plants, and so whenever a plant has like a couple of fruit on this extra sucker that got really big, I did it. I cut it off. It was hard, but I did it. Everybody got pruned except some of the cherries. These cherries, it's a jungle. And trying to get everybody tied up, this makeshift faux Florida weave that I've got going, I just have too many plants on too little string, and they're getting too heavy. And, you know, learn from my mistakes and don't do what I did. And I'm also going to show you, I made a makeshift shade cloth for my tomatoes because it's been in the 90s, hovering around 90 now, and no rain. I am afraid that my tomatoes are not going to make before the plants die from heat exhaustion. So I don't know the percentage of shade that burlap provides, and from what I've read, it might be too much. It might be as much as like 50%, and that's really too much. But I don't care. I'm risking it. I'm trying really hard to extend the life of my tomatoes, and I know that the first big thunderstorm is going to come through and rip it to shreds. Well, hello, bee. A dirt dauber. What are you going to do to my phone? You need to make a phone call? I'm doing the best I can for right now with what I have. I used material that I already had. I don't know why my husband had this massive roll of burlap, but I used what I had. So that being said, let's look at all the tomatoes. Let's see what we got going on. Maybe we'll taste a few. I don't know. So here is my Berries Crazy Cherry, and you can see it is covered in tomatoes. It is leaning over there on its friend, and I've eaten a couple of tomatoes, and they're not that exciting. I'm gonna wait. These have a little bit of green on them. I don't know if you can see, it's still got a little bit of green on the shoulders. So maybe I'm gonna let it get a little bit, maybe even overripe, and see if that gives it a sweeter flavor, but I don't know. Have you had these tomatoes, and are they just not that sweet? This cherry tomato plant, oh, it knocked its sister plant down. They're all just laying on the ground at this point. I have tried to get them to stand back up, and all I wind up doing is breaking branches and knocking fruit on the ground, so I just quit trying. They're just doing what they want at this point. But look at that huge fruit over there. This is a cherry that it doesn't say the variety, it's just cherry. But he's going way up here. Oh, and there's some of the shade cloth I was telling you about. That goes down like that. Same thing, both of these are the same. They just say cherry. So that cherry is leaning on a blueberry, and you can't see what it's got going on in there. There's a blueberry. Can you see? He's laying down. Everybody's been pushed over. And then there's one right here. These are both the blueberry variety, and they're starting to purple up. Okay, so deep in there, this is the sweet pea currant. It was just a little, almost shrubby plant, and I thought it was just this innocent little tomato with tiny, tiny little green tomatoes on it. They haven't gotten ripe yet, but I just thought, well, it's just a little guy. It's not going to get big. Well, in the jungle phase going on here, it took over. It has been crawling everywhere. It's crawling across to the trellis on the other side. It's crawling into all the plants. And then the more that I try to untangle it, the more I'm knocking fruit off. So I just gave up. But if you wondered, if you didn't already know this, apparently the sweet pea currant, teeny tiny, what are they called, teaspoon tomatoes, they're actually a secret little brat. You heard me. See? Look at this little guy. So I'm not sure if you can tell how that the sweet pea is just, he's climbing everywhere. So this is just a large cherry. Let me squeeze it. Ooh, I think this one's ready. Hey Rusty, you want to try a tomato? This came from Little Shop of Seeds, and it's nice and soft, so we're going to go ahead and try it. I think I like cherries that are just one bite. It's okay. It's just a cherry tomato. It's not very sweet. I don't know what kind of cherry this is. Some of these plants that I'm not sure if they're putting on fruit, I'm probably going to yank out. I'm getting kind of aggressive at this point. I want some tomatoes. So this one that was a yellow pear, or really, this one that was marked yellow pear, I think it might also be a sun gold. Well, okay. Because it looks just like the sun golds that are next to it. So I'm disappointed I didn't get to try a yellow pear, but these sun golds are really good. I intentionally didn't eat the ripe ones this morning so that I could show you them on the video. And so they're warm and sweet now from having waited till the afternoon to eat them. And basically this is what I'm having for supper. This one has a good bit. Oh yeah. And then this one, look at this. This is a sad little Tommy Toes. I've left it here. He's not sickly, but he's just not growing. And I grew Tommy Toes last year and really liked him. So I'm just going to leave him here and see. Maybe he'll perk up at some point. Then this one is a Tommy Toes. Some of these are my tomatoes of shame. The mystery tomato. Just these other ones that I just stuck here because I didn't have anywhere else to stick them. I don't know if it's the square blocks, if it's this soil, because a lot of these plants in this bed are just not, hey bud, a lot of these plants in this bed, they're just not growing as fast as some of the other ones, and so I think this compost might just be kind of a dud, and I haven't been that great about fertilizing them, because look, there's like one tomato on these scrawny little plants. Let's go down here and look at this one. There's a 42 days. Yeah, I think he's ripe enough to try. Let's see if this one's any good. I didn't already have one of these, did I? It's a little bit sweeter than the cherry that came from Little Shop of Seeds, and it's meatier. I should have showed you the middle of the other one. It's meatier and less seedy for future reference. Here are some more tomato plants with attitude that just will not be strung up. I have a Dr. Witchies. There's a few blooms up on the top, but one kind of sad tomato. What is this? This one is a Ponderosa. It's got a good bit of fruit on it, and it's getting bigger, so maybe this one will be okay. I had to rip out a Floridade because it was sick. This is a delicious, and it's got a little bit, oh wait, here we go. What is this? That one's getting some color. More sun golds. I don't know how this sun gold wound up over here. Here's a 42 day that's looking sickly. This whole bed, look at that. This whole bed has just been questionable. And here is a beefsteak. Let's see if can you see? This is a little healthy little beefsteak plant, or it was healthy. There was an Arkansas Traveler, and I had to yank it out because it was sick. Oh, is this where I yanked out my Paul Robeson? I think I might have yanked out a Paul Robeson on this row too. Remind me to talk about that. Anyway, had to yank out a sick Arkansas Traveler, which those are supposed to be bred for our area. So again, I don't know why. And the trees are doing their nightly screaming. Here's another 42 day. It's got a lot of fruit on it, but the plant is just really small. Is a 42 day a determinate plant, and I just didn't know that? That would explain why the plants are so small, wouldn't it? Get it together, Molly. Okay, here's a Floridade that's healthier, and it's got some fruit on it. And another one. This is a Floridade that the main stem died, but it had a sucker growing up, so I just let it take over. And if the weather holds out, maybe this will grow. It'll have enough time to grow and make some tomatoes. Here is a Paul Robeson, and he looks sick. I'm trying to turn. Let me turn where you can see. This Paul Robeson is looking sick. So because I had to yank out a Paul Robeson, and this one is sick, I took suckers off of my healthy plant to try to grow more plants to hopefully get me a Paul Robeson tomato this year, because it's a really good tomato. It tastes really good, and I really want a tomato sandwich with it. It could possibly be that I don't get tomato sandwiches till the fall. Wouldn't that just be something? The last one in this row is a Trip L crop, and the plant looks healthy enough. There's some blooms. So we'll see if it has time to produce. This Boxcar Willie needs to be tied up. He's actually putting on some fruit. Here, you just hold on. There we go. And this is a yellow Brandywine. Isn't it funny that the Brandywines, which usually are the first ones to get sick, are the ones that are looking pretty healthy? So this whole row is also a little bit more stunted in growth and has had more sickness. Here is a beefsteak, and that is not a beefy tomato. Get with the program. A Homestead. This one's got a nice tomato. A sad little Abe Lincoln plant. Come on, Abe. Here is a Paul Robeson that the plant looks healthy. Oh, there's some blooms. And it's just getting started putting on blooms. Another Floridade. This is a Gardener's Delight. And it's looking sickly. And I'm not really seeing potential for this plant. And Boxcar Willie. Ooh, let's try this. I don't think I knew that Boxcar Willie was a cherry, tiny cherry. Or is this mislabeled? Somebody tell me. It's got a nice tomato flavor. One of my favorites is a pineapple. It's got 4 fruit on it. That one little fruit, I might knock him off to give these others a better chance. And then here's a Ponderosa. These guys, they do look a lot healthier since I came in here and cleaned them up, and I did feed them some fish emulsion. Okay, we're going to go down here and work our way back because the sunlight is fantastic coming from this direction. Hey, pretty ladies. So here's my healthy Paul Robeson. Let's stand back and fully appreciate him. He's covered in fruit. He's the handsomest man. And I cannot wait to have that right there for a sandwich. It almost looks like I really didn't clean this up much, but I promise I did. Jubilee. Jubilee has a good little bit of fruit. Here is a healthy Arkansas Traveler. Oh, healthy-ish. I watered everything this morning, but I think I need to water it again. Valencia. Look at that. That is a honkin' tomato. I don't know what Valencia tastes like. That'll be interesting. Here's another pineapple. It's got smaller fruit on it. Abe Lincoln. I sort of accidentally let it grow a sucker from the base. Oops. And it's got a bloom. There's Homestead. And that should be ready in a couple days. Good little bit of fruit. Here is a healthier triple crop. Nice. Look at that. So I came through here a couple weeks ago, who knows how long ago, looking at all the blossoms when all the plants were just putting on blossoms, because I wanted to find fasciated blossoms. I wanted to find fused blossoms because, well, for one, I just wanted to find them. I really wasn't sure if I was going to pick them off or leave them alone. Well, I never found any. I didn't notice any, but clearly that tomato is from at least 2, if not 3, blossoms being stuck together. So now I'm just going to leave it and see what it does. Look at that face. A face only a mother could love. Another Jubilee. Look at that. See how tall, how much taller these plants are getting? That one's just about reached the top. Pink oxheart. So I only have one pink oxheart plant. Look at this baby. Can you see that it's shaped like a heart? These are nice, meaty tomatoes. Dr. Witchies. This one is one that I sort of accidentally let branch off, and now he's just taking off. He's over there hanging onto that other trellis. He does what he wants. He's the king of the castle. But that tomato is also cat-faced. I don't know how you can see it. But that's going to be a yummy tomato sandwich too. So I'm well aware that I bit off more than I could chew. I'm well aware that I did this to myself. But when I'm watering the garden, and also when I was pruning tomatoes and tying them up every single time, I think I'm done. I get to the end of this row and I'm like, I'm done. And then I remember my wayward tomatoes. And I think one reason that they misbehave is because I am forgetful of them and a neglectful mother. So it's my own fault if I have raised unruly children. But let's go check them out. I don't think you can fully appreciate just how unruly they are. So I have Amish paste, and they are finally putting on fruit. They really appreciated when I came in here and gave them a really good pruning. The best that I could. I did the best I could. This one's leaning a lot. And then down here we have a yellow brandywine. Again, look how healthy. What is the deal with the plants that are supposed to be the most prone to sickness being the healthiest plants in my garden? So I'm really kind of excited to get to try yellow brandywine. If this is a boxcar willy, then what did I just eat over there? It had to have been a gardener's delight. Or maybe this isn't even a boxcar willy. I'm gonna have to look that up. This is a black brandywine. That's got a spot in it. I need to cut some more leaves on here too, but it's not terrible. And then this is another black brandywine. The fruits on this one are smaller. Okay, this says Gardener's Delight. Okay, so that's what that has to be what it was, because these are small. So that has to be the one that I ate over there on the 3rd row. I should name my rows so I remember where things are. Here is a Delicious, and that one's got a boo-boo. But Those look pretty good. Hey. Oh. Were you with the neighbors? I would say Skipper has accepted his little brother. Hey, buddy. Another ponderosa. See, it's leaning a lot and I just can't get him to stand up anymore at this point. Probably if I put some more T-posts in, I could do it. And this one is a mystery tomato. Looks kind of like a cherry, possibly. What do you think? This one says it's a beefsteak, and he is just wanting to lay completely on the ground. And another beefsteak. Okay, in conclusion, I have a Dr. Witchy sucker and I have some Paul Robeson suckers rooting in the laundry room under the grow lights. So depending on the weather, I'll be bringing those out here into the garden to try to get them to grow me some tomatoes. Or if all of the other plants get sick and die, then I might try to baby them inside until the fall, and they can maybe help me have some fall tomatoes. My intentions this whole time have been the tomatoes that were my favorite were the ones that I wanted to get suckers off of before they got sick, to save to have fall tomatoes instead of trying to start seeds and start over in the fall, if that makes sense. Another thing that I wanted to share with y'all today is I'm an affiliate with the Botanical Interest Seed Company. I don't know if you knew that about me. You could be an affiliate too if you want. And they sent me a link to share with my friends for 20% off of seeds for the month of June. And the link is in the description if y'all want to get you some more seeds, and you can totally blame me. I mean, when I get more seeds, it's not my fault. But if you get more seeds because of me, I'll totally take the blame if you can't help yourself and you go and buy more seeds. But 20% off is a pretty good deal, and I might already be making an order for myself too, so I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh, I almost forgot. I have this little tomato that just decided to volunteer in this bucket of gladiolas, and I'm just going to leave it and see what it does. So he counts, and this concludes our tomato tour.